Alright, going into phase 1, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have your tank start at the edge, under where Malygos is going to be coming from, and start DPSing him right as he's coming. It lets you get some early threat in so that the DPS don't have to worry much. Alright, here comes the first Vortex. Vortex is the real killer in this fight. What it's going to do is it's going to throw everybody into the air and do 18,000 damage to everybody. You just got to make sure everybody in your raid has over 18k life, and it isn't too hard to heal through. Your tank's going to want to pull Mally over to the side of where the next spark is coming, and then you're going to have your DPS root it and kill it. And you'll see I'm moving him over here because I'm trying to position that spark that's at his tail over there. There you go. You can move Mally anytime you need to as long as you wait until after he breaths. The breath has about a 15-second internal cooldown. Alright, I'm watching for where the next spark is coming from, and after this vortex, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag him over to the other side of that current spark on the ground, which makes it much easier for the DPS to get a double stack. The only thing to worry about here is really the breath attack. It's the big killer. It hits like a truck, unless you can resist it. See, we just got a double stack there, so we're going to pop Heroism and go to town on him. Phase 1 ends when you get him to 50%, and the quicker you do that, the more time you have for the other phases, which makes it a pretty important thing that you get your DPS into the sparks, into as many stacks as you can, and get it down. Healers, for the Vortex, you're going to want to use Prayer of Mending, your Hots, and when we land, our Priest tends to pop off a Prayer of Healing, just because it'll take half the group to full. As far as your tank positioning, Mally, you're going to want to be a little bit careful because his hitbox is giant. If you take a Hunter onto this fight, it's tricky to position him. Alright, going into phase 2 now. You can continue to actually DPS Mally at the very beginning of phase 2 because he'll stay up in the air. So if you've got a lot of range, you can get him down to about 44 or 40%. We got him down to about 44 on this attempt. And what's going to happen in a second is the Scions and Lords are going to appear. The Lords are going to come down from the sky, and your tank's going to need to pick them up. I suggest marking one with a skull, because if you try to spread your DPS apart, it's going to take forever to get them down. Alright, here they come. We marked the skull, and you're going to want to be a bit careful if you still got a spark down, because since you got to keep both of them on you, they will sometimes one-shot anybody that, yeah, see, we're about to, there we go, we lose the rogue right there. Trying to keep two mobs on you through, you know, double damage burst is kind of a trick, so you're going to want to have misdirects and tricks of the trades and whatnot go. We just had our best burst DPS grab the first disc. What you're going to do is you're going to have your best melee burst grab the discs that drop. And it's just like being on a flying mount, spacebar to move up, and, you know, WASD to move around, and they're going to go up and they're going to start DPSing the Scions. We get a second disc here, which we put on one of our Death Knights, I believe, on, and up and away he goes. The ranged DPS is going to want to basically attack whatever's directly above them. You'll see there's one right above us, and our ranged is trying to blow it apart. There it is. Your melee can pretty much do whatever the hell they want as long as they're sticking together. There's a good 5 mobs up there, and when they all die, the phase ends. Alright. That was a deep breath that just happened. To survive it, all you have to do is be in one of these little bubbles. This fight is pretty much just run to the bubble. You're going to want to keep everybody alive while you're going there because the bubbles cause a 50% damage reduction on all magic attacks. And the little attacks that the Scions do are pretty powerful when you're outside of one, so you're going to want to keep everybody up, and it's best if you've got a Resto Druid or someone that can heal while moving effectively. I just blew my anti-magic bubble right there while I ran across so that I wouldn't need heals. Because if you have 2 or 3 Scions focus fire you, they will one-shot you, which is rather problematic since in Phase 3 it's a DPS race. Alright, we're taking down our last Scion here, and we should be entering in Phase 3 in a minute. Well, last deep breath. As far as the deep breaths go, you just need to keep everybody at full life, pretty much. They don't hurt that badly as long as you're in a bubble, but if someone starts it at half life and doesn't get a heal, they're as good as dead. Alright, there goes the last Scion, and we're into phase 3. So you're going to want to group up on the skull around the edge here. You can choose your own mark, but the idea here is to get as far to the outside within, you know, a certain range at least, so that when you drop onto your Drake right here, it's easier to get to max distance. You're going to want to stay about 60 yards away from him. Our group spreads out a bit and comes back. If you're within 30 yards of him, he'll pretty much one-shot you, and it's an AoE one-shot, which makes it very dangerous. Alright, you see he's targeting someone there with his laser beam of doom. It's pretty simple to survive. You just get a couple of combo points up and pop your shield off. The ways to get combo points are simple. You either hit the 3 key, which is a heal, and those will stack up combo points on yourself. You hit the 1 key, which is basically Sinister Strike. You're going to want to get up 2 or 3 of the Sinister Strike, and then you're going to want to hit the 2 key to get a debuff going. And these lightning storms that you'll see here are pretty much the biggest thing to worry about. They're big AoE damage and they hurt. And if you get down to about half-life, you're going to want to hit the 3 key, which is a heal. And if you have auto self-cast enabled, it will auto-heal onto you while you're targeting the boss. We just keep moving to the right here, avoiding the lightning storms, and it's pretty simple. If you have one person in your raid do the AoE heal, which is number 4, it will keep the other 9, or if you're doing it on heroic 24, alive pretty easily as long as they're within range. The biggest trick to this is to keep everybody close enough that when he does the static storm, it's always kind of at the center of the group. If you have people fly too far out to the edges, what happens is he'll box you in, which is the biggest thing to worry about. He's about to go down here in a second. Oh, see, we just got one to the right, so now the entire group has to move through it. Meh. Not the best kill in the world, but decent.